All right, you guys, there's been some confusion about the pre-reading part that we were working on. And so I thought, since we can't have a meet and I won't be able to be back at school until Monday with you, I'm going to create this little video and I'm going to put it in with Thursday's work. So if any of you had any questions about the pre-reading part, then you'll know what to do. The main goal, I think, right now is to get your staves read, um, which you can listen to the audio at the top or you can read it yourself. You guys are good readers. You just need to sit down and devote the time and read it. Okay, for the pre-reading, you're going to read an article and you're going to do a video analysis. Okay, so if you look at in the directions, there are part 1, part 2, and part 3 of video clips. And then there are 3 Google Slides attachments. You don't really need to make a copy of the first Google Slides. You can if you want, but it's the article that we're reading. And then the second set of Google Slides concerns the article that's in this first set of slides. And then the last set of Google Slides is divided up into part 1, part 2, and part 3, which leads back to these links that are up here in the directions. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to click open the first set of Google Slides, which is about the workhouses and the poor law. Now, A Christmas Carol, Scrooge and Marley by Israel Hovitz. We were going to read this play, but since we're not there together, I had to change gears. We were going to read it as a class, as a play. So we ended up reading it just as a story, but this still works. So it says workhouses in the poor law. If you read the directions, it kind of explains to you what you're doing with the second activity. So it says, read the passages below, then consider the causes and effects of workhouses in England in the 19th century and complete the graphic organizer. So if you were to open up this, it says Act 2, but it means Activity 2, not Act 2. You've got this graphic organizer, and here you've got cause, and it's pointing to the effect. Okay, so you're gonna maybe, I don't know, however you see this, you might see, well, this is what's going on, what caused this, and that would lead back. But either way, something that they did in the poorhouses, some law, some rule, something led to an effect. It caused an effect. So this side is for the causes, and this side is for the effects. So however you come up with that. So again, you'll read down through this article, and there's probably multiple cause and effect scenarios in here. You're just going to find 3, I believe is what. Yes, it has space for 3 in this one. So just go down through here and read the article. Very simple, very easy, and find 3 different cause and effect relationships, like something they did, a law, a rule, a thing that from the workhouses had this effect on people. It caused this effect on people. So that's how that one's going to go. All right. Then you are going to look at the third Google Slides. And again, you'll have to make your own copy and then you can type on it. You may have to add a text box in order to type. But if you look, it talks about the conditions in the workhouse. It says part 1, the Charles Dickens show. And what they've done, the BBC has created this informational fake show for children to teach us about what life was like in the workhouses that existed in 19th century England. Um, People were sent to live here if you couldn't pay your bills. It's debtor's prison. That existed in the United States. If any of you have studied about the history of Kentucky and about Simon Kenton when he came and settled in Washington and settled the Maysville area, he actually ended up in debtor's prison because people owed him money in his store that he had there in Old Washington, and he couldn't pay his creditors. So they didn't let you declare bankruptcy or whatever. They put you in prison, and your family, or you had to work in prison until and until you could pay off your debt. And in England, the entire family would go to debtor's prison. So if your parents owed money they couldn't pay back, the entire family would be put to prison. Um, and that is explained to you. So that's where you go and you look. See where it says part 2, the Charles Dickens show. Um, that's where you're watching this. Okay. And it's several minutes long. It has one of Dickens' other works. We're reading The Christmas Carol, but it has Oliver Twist in there, which is actually about a child who lived in a Victorian workhouse, or a 19th century, I should say, workhouse in England. So you're going to watch this, and you might want to read through the questions before you watch, and you can put them side by side and answer them as you go through, which is probably what I would do. But that's that part. And then there's a segment in there that talks about the food. It just wants your thoughts, notes. And again, you'll probably have to, after you make your own copy, add text boxes so you can type. All right. And then the second slide says part 2. It's an actual clip from the 1968 movie Oliver. It was a musical. And then you're going to think about what you just watched in the other video that was historically accurate and compare it to what they did in Oliver Twist. So that is going to come from this part 2. And Oliver Twist was copyrighted, so what you're going to watch is actually a Google Drive, and you're going to watch a scene or two from the film to help you answer those questions. All right. Then for part 3 is also a movie clip, but it's from the 2005 version. And that one is labeled part 3. So you're just going to watch it. It's just a short clip. So that's the way all of that works. Hopefully this will help clarify some confusion on it. And maybe by the time I get to come back to you on Monday, hopefully we'll all get to discuss it together. It's a really interesting story, and I would like for us to watch a version of the movie if we can. We'll see. We'll see how much time we have.